Principle of operation of induction motor. So this operation of the principle of operation of induction motor can be explained by using Faraday's law and Lorentz force on a conductor. Okay, based on these two principles, this induction motor is working. Okay, that working can be explained by using these principles, two principles, Faraday's law and Lorentz force on a conductor. The operation of a three-phase induction motor is based upon the application of Faraday's law and the Lorentz force on a conductor. So this can be easily explained by using one example. Okay. So consider a series conductor of length L. Series conductor of length L. So like this is the series conductor of length L. This is a squirrel cage induction motor. So let us assume for squirrel cage induction motor, this is the length of the conductor of a induction motor. The length of the conductor. This is called copper rod or conductor length. Okay. So this is called the length of the conductor, that is called L, series conductor. Okay. Consider a series conductor of length L whose extremities are short circuited by two bars A and B. The extremities are this. Two extremities are so like this. These are short circuited by. Okay. This generally this called as end rings. Okay. So you can call as these are end rings. So this is one of the end ring. Am I right? So squirrel cage, two sides are short circuited with end rings. No? Okay. So end rings are this is called one end ring and this is called another end rings. Okay. So that is represented here like this. So this is the A. Okay. So A this is one end ring and B this is another end ring. Okay. So like this. And the active length of the conductor that is called L. This is called L. The length of the conductor is called this is called L. Understood. So then here means by cutting this induction motor, squirrel cage induction motor, by cutting this cut here, and then it will be make like a horizontal manner, and then it will looks like a one ladder. Okay, by cutting this induction motor, this squirrel cage here, for understanding purpose. Okay, so cut here and is converted into horizontal manner. Okay, it's looks like it's a ladder. Okay, it's clear. So, whose extremities are circulated by two bars A and B. So this is called end rings. Okay. A permanent magnet placed above the conducting ladder. Okay, a permanent magnet placed above the conducting ladder means that is called stator rotating magnetic field. Okay. A permanent magnet placed above this conducting ladder. This is a ladder. This is called one ladder. That is called a squirrel cage induction motor or slip ring induction motor winding. Okay. This is two bars, two end rings. This is one end ring and this is another end ring. Okay, this is called rotating magnetic field. Let us assume this is called rotating magnetic field. Its speed is V. It's rotating. It is this is called rotor. Okay, this is called stator rotating magnetic field. Stator rotating magnetic field rotates. You know well. Okay, yesterday I was explained this concept how the magnetic field is rotating. Okay, RMF, that is called rotating magnetic field. So let us assume that is also one permanent magnet. The rotating magnetic field can be considered as a one. So we have to understand. We have to consider as a so that's called permanent magnets. This permanent magnets moving on the conducting ladder. So like this. Okay. So in that case, what happened on this rotor? So we have to discuss one by one. A permanent magnet placed above the conducting ladder moves rapidly to the right at a speed v. Okay. So this permanent magnet is okay is having a north pole and south pole. You know well. So stay same as a permanent rotating magnetic field also is having north pole and south pole. The flux is linking to the rotor and is rotating also in the stator winding. The magnetic field is rotating on its stator. You know well. Okay, and it cuts into the rotor conductors. Am I right? Stator rotating magnetic field rotates and that rotating magnetic field cuts the rotor. Okay, with a speed of v here v but actually the stator rotating magnetic field rotated at the speed of synchronous speed. Okay, NS. Stator rotating magnetic field rotated at the speed of synchronous speed. Am I right or not? So NS. So here, for understanding purpose, so here V, they moves rapidly to the right at a speed of V, so that its magnetic field B sweeps across the conductor. The following sequence of events then takes place on the rotor. Okay, there are three different types of steps involved in this. Different types of tests takes place. First one, a voltage E is equal to BLV induced in each conductor while it's being cut by the flux according to the Faraday's law. Am I right or not? Whenever a stator rotating magnetic field cuts the rotor, okay, then EMF induced in the rotor conductors, rotor bars. Okay, a voltage E that is equal to BLV. B is called magnetic flux density, L is called length of the conductor, and V is called velocity or speed of the this rotating magnetic field or the speed of the permanent magnet. Okay, so E is equal to BLV. This EMF induced because of this. The magnet is depending on magnetic flux density B and the length of the conductor and speed of the rotating magnetic field, that is called permanent speed of the permanent magnets. Okay, is induced on in each conductor while it's being cut by the flux according to the Faraday's law. Okay, so like this EMF induced in this rotor, understood, in the rotor conductors. Okay, then the induced voltage immediately produces a current I. The induced voltage immediately produces a current I. That current is called here I. Okay, so this is rotating. Okay, at starting, this rotor is stationary. The stator rotating magnetic field is rotating. Okay, that's why there is a relative speed between these two. Am I right or not? This is called rotor. The rotor is stationary at starting, at time of starting. Okay, the rotor is speed is 0, but stator rotating magnetic field ns synchronous speed. Okay, it rotating at a speed of synchronous speed. Am I right or not? So in that case, there is a relative speed between these two. Because of that, the EMF induced whenever these fluxes cuts the rotor conductor, then EMF induced in this rotor conductors, and then immediately the current induced. Okay, the induced voltage immediately produces a current I, which flows down the conductor underneath the pole phase through the end bars and back through the other conductors like this. So the so current is flowing like this manner, and also the current is flowing through the end in this manner. This is called end bars. End bars called end rings. Here end rings. This called end ring. This called end ring. And as coming back to the another end ring, this current is leaving from this bar and is leaving from here like this, and I is divided to I by 2 and I by 2. Okay, so this I by 2 and this I by 2. This current is called I. Okay, this current I is divided by I by 2 and I by 2, and coming back to the uh, like this manner, so it's closed loop. Okay, like that the current is circulating in this rotor. Okay, so because of EMF induced in this rotor. Okay, the induced voltage immediately produces a current I, which flows down the conductor underneath the pole phase through the end bars and back through the other conductors. Back through the other conductors like this. Understand? So because the current carrying conductor lies in the magnetic field. Understood? Because the current carrying conductor lies in the magnetic field, a permanent magnet. It experiences a mechanical force that is called Lorentz force. You know, well, current carrying conductor placed in a stationary magnetic field or rotating magnetic field, it experiences a force according to the Faraday's. You know, well, okay, current carrying conductor. This is called current carrying conductor. So placed in a magnet. Okay, current carrying conductor placed in a here. So and magnetic field, current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field, it is experiences a force. That force direction is the same as rotating magnetic field. So this force, okay, this force is acting on the rotor conductor is the same as rotating magnetic field. Okay, a rotating magnetic field is nothing but a permanent magnet. If it is considered as a rotating magnetic field, the rotating magnetic field is rotating. So like this manner. Okay, the rotating magnetic field is rotating in this like this on the rotor conductor. Okay, rotating magnetic field rotating on stator. Am I right? Stator winding. Okay, that stator winding cuts the rotor conductors, and then magnetic flux is induced in this rotor conductor, and then EMF induced, and then because of that induced EMF, current is developed. Because of that current, because of that current, the some amount of force is developed. That force is called Lorentz force. Because of that, rotor is also trying to move in this direction. Okay, because of magnetic, there's an interaction between these two. Because of that current. Okay, so that's called Lorentz force. Okay, so in this way, this induction motor is trying to rotate. Okay, this force is always acts in a direction to drag the conductor along with the permanent magnetic field. Okay, the permanent magnetic field is rotating in this direction. So the force on this rotor conductor is also so same direction of the rotating magnetic field. That's why this rotor is trying to rotate. Yeah, okay, rotor is trying to rotate below the speed of the stator rotating magnetic field. If the stator rotating magnetic field and rotor rotates the same speed, that case, there is no relative speed between these two. For example, this permanent magnet is rotated at a speed of 1500 rpm. Let us assume this permanent magnet rotated at speed of 1500 rpm. If the rotor is also rotating, this called rotor is also rotating at a 1500 rpm, means there is no relative speed between these two. No? There is no relative speed between these two. That's why speed is zero. There is no relative speed between these two. Speed zero. Relative speed is zero. That's why there is no displacement between these two. Okay. That's why this flux not cuts the rotor conductor. Okay. It's stationary, just stationary. Okay. Current conductor placed in a stationary magnetic. Compulsory, there must be a relative speed between these two. Then only this EMF induced in the rotor conductor. Okay. Compulsory, there must be a relative speed between stator rotating magnetic field and rotor. Then only EMF induced and current is developed, and because of that current, so the force is developed, and the force acting same as direction of stator rotating magnetic field. Am I right? Okay, the force is always acting in the direction to drag the conductor along with the magnetic field. If the conducting ladder is free to move, if the conducting ladder is free to move, it will accelerate toward the right. Understood? Force is always acts in a direction of drag to the conductor along with the magnetic field. Okay, this is called rotating magnetic field is rotating in this direction. Means so this rotor is also trying to move in this direction. Okay, if the conducting ladder is free to move, so it will accelerate towards the right. Okay, however, it as its pick up speed. Okay, the conductor will cut the less rapidly by the moving magnet when it is rotating. Okay, if the stator rotating magnetic field is rotating, the rotor is also rotating. So then conductor will cut less rapidly by the moving magnet, with the result that the induced E and current I will be diminish. Okay, I mean less. So the current I and induced removal will become less when if the stator rotating magnetic field and rotor is rotating same speed, there is no EMF induced in the conductor. Okay, that means if the relative speed is not is equal to zero, that means if the stator rotating magnetic field and rotor rotating at same speed, so in that case, the EMF induced in the rotor conductor is zero, and then current is zero, and then the torque is zero, the force is zero, then torque is zero, then motor is not rotating. Okay, so that's why this compulsory there must be a relative exist between these two. Relative speed between these two exist. Okay, and consequently the force acting on the conductor will also decreases. Understood? If the ladder were to move the same speed of the magnetic field, understood? The induced voltage E and the current I and the force dragging the ladder along would become zero. Along would all become zero. That means the relative speed of the speed of the stator rotating magnetic field and this ladder speed, that is called rotor speed, same, there is no relative speed between these two. That means the EMF induced in the rotor conductor is 0, then current is 0, there is no force acting on the conductor. So that's why torque is 0. So at that case, what happened then? The torque 0 means the speed of the rotor is decreasing, but stator rotating magnetic field speed is constant. It's not depending on this rotor. Speed of the stator rotating magnetic field is constant. That is called NS is equal to 120 F by P now. NS is equal to 120 by synchronous speed. NS is equal to 120 F by P. The stator rotating magnetic field is rotated at a speed of 120 F by P is depending on poles and frequency. So that's why stator rotating magnetic field is not changing. It's constant, even though rotor is stationary or moving. Okay. But this rotor, whenever the rotor is reaches to the speed of this stator rotating magnetic field, so there is relative speed between these two, 0, and the EMF induced in this rotor bar is 0, and the current is 0, then force is 0, and then there is no torque, there is no force on the rotor, and the speed is reduces. And then when the speed is reduces, there may be a relative speed exist between these two. Again, some EMF is induced in this rotor conductor, and then current is induced and force is developed. Okay, again, then motor is trying to rotate in this same direction. That's why the rotor of induction motor is speed is always less than that synchronous speed. The rotor of a induction motor is always less than that of the synchronous speed. It's clear, understood? Whenever this rotor speed and stator rotating magnetic field, this is called rotor speed, and the stator rotating magnetic fields are rotating same speed, so the EMF induced in this rotor bar is equal to 0, current is 0, the force is 0, and then speed is reduces. And then whenever the speed is reducing, there is a relative speed between these two. Okay, because of that EMF induced, again, it's trying to rotate. It's always aligned to the stator rotating magnetic field, but not coincide the speed of stator rotating magnetic field. Okay, that's why always less than the speed of stator rotating magnetic. So that's why this uh, rotor is rotating less than the synchronous speed. It's clear. So this is about Lenz's law also affecting on the operating principle on the induction motor. Okay, effect opposes the cause. Okay, because of this EMF induced and current is developed, it's always trying to reduce this current EMF E is equal to 0 and I is equal to 0. That's why it's always trying to move in this direction of the stator rotating magnetic field, whatever the speed of the stator rotating magnetic field. So less than that speed is always trying to rotate. Okay. So here the current I2 dash is equal to, from this equivalent circuit of three-phase induction motor. So this primary side same as transformer, but secondary side is different. Secondary side is and transformer, just winding is there and load is connected to the secondary side of transformer. But in induction motor is different. Secondary side is called rotor, is rotating part. Secondary side is a rotating part. That's why the slip concept coming to picture. Okay, so secondary side is a winding resistance. It's called R2 and secondary current I2 dash. Okay, and then S into X2. So leakage reactance. This is called mechanical load. So represented it is a inductive load. No? So induction motor is a inductive load. The winding is short circuited. Am I right? So we are not connecting any external resistance in the squirrel cage induction motor. Okay, in slip ring induction motor, stator, the rotor is connected external resistance. Okay, so that is called so maybe R2. Okay, this is called EMF induced in the rotor. So that is called E2 dash. That will become S into E2. Okay, under stationary condition, if the rotor is stationary, then that is not rotating. It's like a transformer. Okay, so that means S is become 1 at starting condition. Slip is equal to 1. Then E2 dash is equal to E2, just E2. That EMF induced in the state. Secondary side is called E2. Okay, then it is converted into load. So by like this, I2 dash is equal to from this. So from this equivalent circuit of three-phase induction motor, I2 dash is equal to S into E2 divided by under of R2 square plus S into X2 whole square. I is equal to V by Z. So V by Z means S into E2. The EMF induced in the rotor is called S into E2. Slip stamps of E2. And Z is called impedance under of R2 square plus S into X2 square. Okay. R2 plus J into S terms of X2 actually. And then the magnitude R2 square plus S times of X2 square. And then take common S and it will become I2 dash is equal E2 divided by R2 by S whole square plus X2 square. Okay. So from this equation, R2 by S is variable, X2 is constant and E2 is constant. Okay. So first the equivalent circuit of secondary side of three-phase induction motor, I2 dash R2 S into X2. First is same as here. Equivalent circuit of secondary side. This is called equivalent circuit. This part we have to discuss. Only this part. This part is the same as a transformer. So this part we have to discuss. We have to represent in a mechanical load. Okay, mechanical. So this complete equivalent circuit is represented in a mechanical load. So with respect to the slip, by taking the slip concept. Okay. So I2 dash is equal to R2 E2 S into E2 divided by this current I2 dash is nothing but S into E2 divided by R2 plus N. And then take common S and it will become like this. Okay. R2 by S and X2. Okay. And then it is converted into by introducing some resistance here R2 and then introducing this slip R2 by S minus R2. Okay. Yeah, one more resistance that is called minus R2 here plus R2. And then R2 become cancel. And this is same as this X2 and R2 by S. Okay, R2 by S minus R2 now. See here minus R2 and here R2 is cancelled. Same as this equivalent circuit. Na? So that means this circuit can be represented in a mechanical load manner. So RL is called R2 into 1 by S minus 1. So we have to represent a load like this manner. Okay. So in a three-phase induction motor, that's load is a variable. So speed is variable. Speed changing. The rotor side speed is changing. Rotor is rotating. It's not stationary. That's why speed changing. Okay. The first part R2 is the rotor resistance per phase and represent the rotor copper loss. Okay. This represent the rotor copper loss R2. The first part, the R2 is called rotor copper loss. Understood? And then on the second next, the second part R2 into 1 by S minus 1 is called variable resistance load. Variable resistance load. This R2 into 1 by S minus 1 is represent variable resistance load of three-phase induction. The power delivered to the load represent the total mechanical power developed in rotor. Okay. The power delivered to the load represent the total mechanical developed in the rotor. This mechanical load of induction motor can be replaced by a variable resistance load value R2 into 1 by S minus 1. Okay. So that is called load resistance. This is RL is equal to R2 into 1 by S minus 1. Okay. This is so the equivalent rotor circuit along with the low resistance of three-phase induction motor. Understood? And then so this is the equivalent circuit of three-phase induction motor. So just like a transformer. So R1 X1 this primary side is the same as previous one. Okay. So yeah. So this completely equivalent circuit, this complete equivalent circuits converted into like this manner. So by using that concept equivalent RL. So this up to year onwards. So this complete load can be represented in a transformer equivalent circuit. Understood? So this complete load can be represented by using this concept. Okay. By using this concept, so it is represented by equivalent circuit. So like this. So R1 next one is primary side is same. I1 is also same current and rotor copper loss, core loss component, stator side core loss component, and magnetizing component. IM, you know well, magnetizing component, wattful component, no load current. This is called primary current I1. So this is called a stator winding of induction motor. Stator winding. This is called a rotor side. Okay, so represented by a mechanical load. R2, rotor core loss component and rotor leakage reactance and low resistance, variable resistance, RL. R2 is equal 1 by S minus 1. Okay. So that's why the transformer induction motor is called as a rotating transformer. Try to concentrate. Why induction motor is called as a rotating transformer? So this is one of the important question. Okay, rotating transformer. Okay, understood? Rotating transformer is nothing but induction motor, induction machine. Induction machine can be called as a rotating transformer. Okay. So this is the equivalent circuit. When it is referred to the primary side, the equivalent circuit parameters are referred to the primary side. So what is how to transfer the secondary elements into primary side? By using that concept, multiplication by a square or division by k square. Am I right on it? So how to convert this secondary side elements into the primary side? Same as transformer, by taking the one concept that is called A or K. K is called, in a transformer, K is called N2 by N1. So in this induction motor, we have to take E2 by E1. Okay, this E2 by E1 concept we have to take. Okay, for transformer, N2 by N1 number trans concept we have to take in transformer, but EMF induced in this stator and rotor, we have to take the concept here, E2 by E1. Okay, E2 by E1. So same as so how to convert R2 dash when secondary resistance is converted into the primary side? So it will become R2 by K square, am I right? And X2 by K square. If it is A, so A is nothing but E1 by E2. Okay, that means R2 into A square. Okay, if you want to take A turns ratio, this is for transformer, this is for induction motor. Induction motor, so only the concept of EMF, induced EMF from the primary side and secondary side. Okay, that's why take K and then X2 by K square. So like that. So this R2 dash also, so it will become R2 by K square. R2 by K square into 1 by S minus 1. So like this. When it is converted into the primary side, that is called RL dash. It will become RL dash. Am I right? So like this, the equivalent circuit parameters are changing. Then it refers to the primary side of three-phase induction motor. Okay, when it is referred to the primary side, this equivalent secondary side elements are converted into the same as transformer. R2 become R2 by K square or R2 into A square. X2 become X2 by K square. Okay, same as the transformer. Transformation referred to the primary and referred to the secondary. Here referred to the primary. And then here I2 dash is nothing but K times of I2 dash. Okay, and R2 dash R2 by K square and X2 dash X2 by K square and RL dash R2 by K square into 1 by S minus 1. Power converted to mechanical power. Power converted to a mechanical power. So like this. Understood? This concept you know well, I think. Equivalent circuit is referred to the primary side. Secondary side equivalent parameters are converting into the primary side. So like this, you will get like this. And then, so try to consider here at no load, the slip is practically 0. And no load condition, what is the formula for slip here? Slip is equal to ns minus nr by ns. Okay, at no load, so slip is equal to ns minus nr by ns into 100 percentage slip. If it is percentage slip, ns minus nr by, this is called a slip formula. Okay, at no load means at no load, that means rotor speed is 0, slip is practically 0. Understood? Under no load conditions, rotor speed is become 0. Under no load condition, the rotor speed is equal to almost is equal to the stator speed. Okay, under no load condition, the rotor speed is almost is equal to the stator speed, but is not exactly equal to the stator speed. For example, stator speed 1500 rpm. Okay, for example, 1500 rpm stator speed. The rotor speed may be is equal to the 1499 or 1498. So like this rpm. So the almost equal. That's why this slip will become 0. Okay, almost 0, not equal to 0. Okay, at no load, slip is practically 0. Okay, and the load resistance RL is infinity. Substitute here slip is equal to 0 under no load condition. So under no load condition, slip is equal to 0. No? Slip is equal to 0 here. In that case, what is the load resistance? So 1 by 0. Am I right? That is become infinity. Understand? The low resistance become infinity. That means RL is equal to infinity means open circuit. Am I right or not? Infinity resistance means open circuit. If RL is equal to 0, call short circuit. Am I right or not? If low resistance is 0, it will be acting as short circuit. If low resistance infinity, it is acting as an open circuit. So understand. So try to focus here. At no load, slip is practically 0. Slip is equal to 0, and the low resistance RL is infinity. This condition resembles that transformer whose secondary winding is open circuit. Okay, this secondary winding will become open circuit. Same as transformer, secondary winding is open circuit. At standstill, the slip is unity. At standstill means at starting condition. Starting condition, slip is infinity. Unity means the rotor speed is equal to 0. Rotor speed is equal to 0. Then slip is equal to ns minus nr divided by ns. Then nr is equal to 0. Then ns by ns. Am I right or not? That is equal to 1. The slip is equal to 1. Starting. Okay. That means at standstill, the slip is unity and the load RL dash is 0. Okay. Substitute 1 year. Slip is equal to 1 year. Substitute 1 year. And then it will become